What's up, you guys? UFC Vegas 114. We got the Profit Pit going down. This is episode number 4. I have 2 new guests that are about to join us. We got some big implications on the line. The winner is guaranteed an eventual match against Doug, who's undefeated 3-0. And of course, your record stays with you moving forward. So, you don't want to lose here on the Profit Pit. So I'll bring those 2 guests on here in just a second. Got to recap real quick last week's match, which was between the newcomer, Bet Sam, and Doug. Sam came up a little short there, but in fact, both guests were in the negative. So even though Doug did prevail, he still was negative 0.63 units. And for everybody out there that's saying that you're ready to take Doug on, or you're ready to run through all the guests that I bring on, what you could do first and foremost is hit the comment section under this video, throw your bets that you have for this upcoming event. If you're going to be in the comment section talking, how about you have your bets already stamped so we can look back at them? Because it's really easy for any of you guys out there just to say, oh, this is the bets that I took and I did this and that. So why don't you do that now if you plan on starting to bash my upcoming guests that are going to give you their plays here in a second. And let's see here. I'll let you guys know. Some of you guys want to know how I did for UFC 326. I profited 3 units on the card, and that was even with a very tough Max Holloway loss, which if Holloway would have came through for me there, it would have been another huge night for me because I didn't even mention it, but the UFC Mexico card was very good to me. I profited over 10 units on that UFC Mexico card. Had a lot of over 1.5 rounds there on the main card and all that. So if anybody wants to see what I was targeting, you guys can see that there. And with that all being said, let's start to get into this match here. What's up, you guys? Here we go. We got 2 new guests joining the show. We got Drew from the Stout N Out Show. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Good to be here.
What's up, guys? And then we got a KoMoe with MMA Gems, representing MMA Gems. We got KoMoe. I've been talking to him for some time through IG, and this is a dude that knows his stuff as well. So this is going to be a solid matchup here. Mo, you want to say what's up to everybody?
What's up, you guys? How you guys doing? Let's try to make some money this weekend. Going for Doug's head. First, we got to get through Stout first. I can't underestimate him. I seen your Instagram. You had that Bobby Green lock.
Dude, loving it. No, I get it. We're going for Doug. Smoking Doug. Smoking the Doug pack after this. So I get it.
Yeah, Doug better watch his head out there in the streets. He better watch where he's going out there. So, look, we're going to have this match. For everyone that doesn't remember the rules here, we're going to jump into 2 preliminary fights here because we have 2 guests. So they each chose a prelim match. So they'll each have their match there. But still, both contestants have to have an official play. Each play, every fight we go to, you have 1 unit to wager. There's no parlays, nothing like that. It's just one simple bet for that fight. It could be, the favorite, the dog, an over, under, specific method of victory and all that. Once we hit those preliminary fights, we'll go up to the main card. And after these fights take place, we will know who was victorious. We'll see who had the better return on investment, who profited more. Hopefully they're both in the green. We want to see both our guests be in the green here. And we lost you, Mo. If you get that camera going, Mo's out the picture here. Can you hear us, Mo? Looks like we lost Mo right before we jump into this thing, of course. But Mo, you there? KoMoe. Here we go. You good, Mo?
What the hell?
There you go. We can hear you. And guys, another thing too, as Mo gets the camera going here, what I'm going to be doing now, based off of last week's episode, which shout out to my boy Bet Sam, by the way, because Bet Sam, he's awesome, and I definitely want to bring him back on often. But I do want to keep it a little bit more concise when we jump into these targets. So I'm going to have the quiet 60-second clock going in the background, and that will give them about a minute to wrap up why they had that target. If it goes on too long, I'll hit them with the bell. You guys will hear the bell, and that will give them a sign to kind of wrap it up. This way we can keep things a little bit more concise. All right, guys? So, with that all being said, I think it's time to jump into this thing, which, Drew, we'll jump into your first prelim, which was, what was your first prelim again?
My prelim is going to be Chris Curtis taking on Mitabek Orlabai in the welterweight division.
Okay, let's jump into it.
Want to rock?
Yeah.
All right, right on, man. All right, I got Mitzebek Orlabine. My unit's going to be to finish inside the distance, whether it be KO or TKO. Basically, what I'm feeling is, he's coming off of a great KO win against Jack Hermanson. That happened back in November. He's riding a 2-fight winning streak, which I really like, and he's never been finished. Obviously, he carries power in both hands, obviously, and, basically, and he's not one-dimensional. He can either finish you on the ground or on the feet. I think he's got 7 wins via KO or TKO and 6 wins via sub. Also, he's got 45% takedown accuracy, which I really love. I know Chris Curtis is kind of a grinder in that aspect, and, he can really work it both ways as I see it. Chris Curtis is also a little older. Chris Curtis is, 38? Orlabai is 28. So, Curtis is a little old in the tooth, getting toward the end zone. And basically the path I see to victory for Orlabai is, basically he's using that early finishing intent. He's going to establish his power early, look to really put the foot on the gas in rounds 1 and 2. And he's going to really look to mix his levels with fluidity. Strike, clinch, takedown transitions really, really good, and pressure smart. The only thing I see that's kind of like, that might make a lot of people pump the brakes is, Chris Curtis is, like I said, he's a grinder. And Orlabai's got that 40% takedown defense. You know what I mean? He can get taken down. We've seen him get pressured before, but I just think he definitely has better power than Chris Curtis. So I'm going Orlabai, TKO, KO within the 3 rounds.
Okay, and what line were you able to get on that Orlbai KO/TKO?
So I got minus 295 is what I looked at, but I could have been that was earlier. That was like earlier in the week. So that was what I got for that one.
Okay, minus 295, and I'll look back at after we do this. I'll look back, check the odds, but that sounds right to me. I mean, we could dive. I don't want to spend too much time, fact checking each bet, but I'll make sure that these are all, accurate lines, to an extent, right? Of course, they're going to vary a little bit.
It says it's plus 150 on my book, KO or submission, plus 150 on that.
Oh, plus 150. All right, so I'm sorry. Plus, but you know what? I was looking.
Yeah, but Mo, you said KO or sub.
Yeah, that's basically inside the distance. That's the same
but
thing.
he's targeting just straight KO/TKO, no sub.
Oh, just for the fight to end. Oh, okay, I see what he's saying.
For Orlbai to get a knockout, right? Drew, that's correct, right, Drew? You're targeting the knockout.
Yeah,
but just for this one, we won't do this for everyone because we'll try to keep the show running smoothly. But to pull this up real quick, I see Orlbai to win this fight, which let me pull it up for you guys as well so you guys can roll with me here. I see Orlbai to win this fight via KO. Right now, I see it available ranging from plus 340 all the way up to plus 410. So how about we lock you in at, what did you say? We'll lock you in at plus 375. How does that sound?
That's cool. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so we got Drew.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the money line. My bad.
No worries. Yeah. So we got you at some nice plus odds there on the Orlbai KO, saying that Curtis gets finished via KO, which the last time he was knocked out, I think it was the Kopylov fight, right? That was that late stoppage, maybe a little bit.
1 second left.
Yeah, the 1 second left. All right, Mo, what are you liking for this fight? Oh, there we go.
For this fight, I'm going with over 2.5 rounds at minus 150. I think at some books it's like minus 145, but I think Chris Curtis is more than durable enough to survive Orlbai. Don't get me wrong, I'm huge on Orlbai. I think he's great. He has all the tools, but I think that if he's not able to get the takedowns, that Curtis is going to give him a problem, and Curtis is very, very hard to finish. He's only been submitted 1 time in his career, and he's only been knocked out 1 time in his career. I believe it's 2 times, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And the one of them was crazy head kick with left, so can't really knock him. It was against Kopylov. He has nasty head kicks. I personally don't think this fight ends by finish. I think it sees the judges, and that's how I'm going to be. That's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play over 2.5 rounds.
Over 2.5. Yeah, I just checked that as well in the back. I'm going to lock you in at minus 150. That sounds good to you? Minus 150 on the over 2.5 rounds?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. All right, cool. We just hit that first fight up, so we got you both locked in. So you guys went about it a little bit of a different way. You got Drew targeting some big-time plus odds there. Now remember, if he loses it, he loses his 1 unit that he was wagering as well, so he'll have nothing there. Mo playing it a little bit safer. At least that's what the odds say, right? We'll see how that all plays out. But Drew going for a nice hit. If Drew hits that, I mean, that would be a great start for him. He'd be right off the rip. He would have, 4.75 units that he's working with there as far as what he's got in the bag there. So from there, Mo, we're going to jump over to your preliminary fight, which if you could let us know what that was again.
It's Energy Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva.
Yeah, jump into it. What do you like there?
You want me to start it off?
Yeah. You could. Yep.
For this fight, I'm going with a fight prop. I'm going with a fight prop. It's Charles Johnson and over 1.5 rounds. I have it here at -115. I personally like that more than his money line at -175. Don't get me wrong, I love his money line at -175 as well. But we're playing with one unit here, so I need to maximize my profit with that -115. For the reason why I think Inner Johnson's gonna win though is he's way taller than me. He has like a 5 inch height on him, and he also has the crazy reach advantage on him. So I believe that he's gonna keep it at a distance. He's gonna play it more safe this fight after being knocked out for the first time in his career last fight. He's definitely gonna keep it at range, and he's gonna piece Bruno up the whole entire fight. Is what I'm seeing.
Okay, so
I think Bruno is gonna try to go for a bunch of takedowns. Yeah, I think Bruno is gonna try to go for a bunch of takedowns, and it's not gonna work out in his favor, and he's gonna get clipped. I'm just hoping. The only way I lose this one right here is if Charles Johnson knocks him out within the first round and a half, but I don't think that's happening. Bruno's tough. He's durable.
Okay, so give me that one more time. Did you said Johnson on the money line? Was that what it was?
No, Johnson. It's a fight prop. It's Johnson and over 1.5 rounds. It's a fight prop.
Okay, so Johnson to win the fight and for it to surpass 1.5 rounds.
Yep.
Okay. So if he gets that finish before the halfway marker, you would still lose. I got you. All right. So Johnson, and what line did you get on that?
-115 on DraftKings.
Okay, -115. All right. Drew, you there? I see you're popping in and out a little bit. I think we're losing Drew right before his he's out of here.
One of the comments say Bruno strike. He doesn't try to engage the wrestling. I completely agree with you. He doesn't try to engage the wrestling, but that's what I think is going to happen in this fight because Charles Johnson is going to keep him at range. He's going to have to try to shoot so he can close the distance. He has to mix it up. He's not going to keep it standing the entire time because if he does, he's most likely going to get finished if he stays on the feet the whole entire time.
Yeah. Drew, you there, brother? We've seen
when he's getting outstrike, he tries to go for takedowns.
Drew.
It doesn't say he's in here.
Yeah, no, I see him. He's coming in and out. He's having some issues there. Mo, I would say this. When I look at that fight, I'm curious what you think about this. Are you not worried at all, the aspect of that match as far as Silva cracking Charles Johnson with the shot on the feet, with the fact that Johnson was just knocked out, a couple of weeks back, and now he's coming right back in there, and Silva has above average power for the flyweight division, right? I mean, if you check his resume, he has a decent amount of KOs.
He does.
Specifically for the flyweight division.
Personally, the only way I could see Bruno getting a knockout in this fight is if he lands a crazy flying knee. That's the only way I could see him getting a knockout. I literally don't see any because Charles likes to duck his head a lot. He likes to dip and throw an uppercut often. That's how he caught Joshua Van. He threw a double jab into an uppercut. But if you were watching before he did that, he was dipping and ducking a lot. So that's literally the only possible way I could see Johnson getting caught crazy flying knee. Okay. Personally, you know what I mean?
An eye on that.
Drew,
you there?
It's MMA. Anything could happen.
All right, Drew's with us.
You think I have a dial-up internet or something like that? No, for my bet, I like Charles Johnson money line on this one. Energy. Mo said the thing I liked about him the most. He's got that height and reach advantage. I know he stands at 5'9". He's definitely taller than Silva. But my big thing, obviously Charles Johnson, he's like a big volume guy. He thrives in high tempo fights. I think I can definitely, he can definitely outdo the distance in terms of with Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, again, he doesn't have that speed advantage that Charles Johnson has. And also against, guys who kind of jab consistently and circle around him, Silva really struggles to cut off the cage with those guys with that type of speed and tempo. So I like Johnson money line on this one. That's who I'm picking with that. I got for that one, I got I think it changed, but I got -186 on that one. It could be lower to -175.
I'm gonna lock you in at -175. I'm gonna even get you better odds there because I see it even available as low as -170. And you take a look at the line movement over here on DK. Johnson did open up as a -205, so you see action coming in on Bruno Silva. I think some people might have been tuned in to walk the line, listen to the teller pick Bruno Silva to win that fight as a dog. I don't know, guys, but
I
we'll
didn't even
see.
realize I didn't get up to that part of your video.
Yeah, I did pick Silva. It's a tough fight, but I
If you
like the
don't
value on the
if you
dog
don't
personally
if
there.
you don't mind me if you don't mind me asking, why did you pick Silva? Just because of the value?
I've been rolling with Silva for quite some time. I've been pretty high on him. I think he hasn't been the most active, but I think that he's an underrated fighter. He trains extensively with Henry Cejudo. I think he can wrestle, he can grapple. I like the power that he has, but the fact that Johnson's taken that fight off of just a couple weeks from being KO'd the way that he was, and he's not a young fighter. Was he 35? About to be 36 or something like that. I think that knockout is live. Sometimes you see these fighters go back in there and then even if he doesn't get knocked out, he could be a little bit of a shell of himself. He could be a little bit more hesitant, being worried to be clipped with the shot. Meanwhile, Silva's coming in off of a very impressive performance. I backed him as a dog in that last fight against Hyun Sung Park, I believe it was, the Korean, and he showed up and he looked good in there. Now he's getting his bearings under him, and he's starting to get that momentum. He's being more active, and I think that he's a live dog
in that fight as well.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's the reason why I had him.
I'm high on. Listen, trust me, I'm very high on Bruno. I saw him fight live in New Jersey. He looked spectacular against Van, and then that last like half of the after the first round and a half, he just started to gas out and he got completely destroyed. He got finished in the last 50 seconds in that fight, and I had the fight to go to the distance.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized too, that's my mistake. I think the Johnson versus Silva fight is actually on the main card. So essentially, we used your preliminary.
I think it's the first fight to kick off the main card.
Yeah, so we really just kicked the main card off. I should have double checked that. My bad on that. But Mo, do you have another preliminary bout that you want to do, or if not, no worries. We could just.
Oh, there's 6. Oh, so is there?
It's a 6-fight.
I thought that was a prelim fight because I'm seeing.
Yeah, no worries. Don't even sweat it. No worries about it. We're just gonna stick with that prelim fight. At least now we know that Mo really liked that first fight to kick off the main card. And from there, Drew will kick this off.
I can pick another prelim fight.
Don't worry about it. You have another now because then Drew didn't have ample time. Drew didn't have ample time to do a bet for it. And let's just jump right into this next one because I like this next fight too. We have the UFC debut of Marwin Rahiki, who is taking on Harry Hardwick.
I love it.
And, before I throw this over to Drew, I'll just give you guys some a little preview to this fight. I like this dude, Rahiki, a lot. I thought that his fight on Dana White's Contender Series was one of the more exciting fights that we've seen on that show. And in fact, I think it probably was the best
Contender Series fight we've ever seen.
You think so, huh? Yeah. I mean, I have it up there as a top 5 at least, but I have it as the best comeback that we've ever seen in Dana White's Contender Series. And realistically, I have that as one of the best comeback fights that we've seen inside the octagon in all of MMA. He was dropped very badly 2 times in the first round, and a lot of other fighters would have looked for ways out. He never did. He showed a lot of heart, and then he came back, and he actually got his own finish there. So, Drew, what are you thinking here with the UFC newcomer taking out a fighter that and Hardwick, who really hasn't proven anything?
I know Hardwick. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I took Rahiki for money line at -265. He's coming off that TKO win against Mulambal. That happened in October, and he's undefeated, which I really like. He's 6 out of his 7 pro wins are by TKO, and he's not a big takedown guy. He doesn't really invite wrestling like that, but he dictates range and tempo like no other, which I really like. He really keeps fighters on the back foot. He establishes his power early. He hits like a freaking truck, and he's landing clean, and he really can dictate the fight as he sees on the feet as he likes. He mixes levels and pace really well. He adds kicks to his game, which kind of opens it up. He does feints really well, and he creates opening for power punches. So I really like Rahiki money line on this one. I got it at -265 when I looked at it. So that's what I'm saying, Rahiki for money line on that one.
Got Rahiki on the money line. And that's and I'm not saying this in a negative way at all. That's actually a smart move there. That's a relatively safe target, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's an argument that Rahiki should deserve to be even like a -290, -300 here. I know there's not a long track record of him. He's still a young fighter, and I know that he did show some defensive flaws. He had his hands low in that fight. Hence the reason why he got dropped brutally twice in the first round. But Harry Hardwick, I mean, the performance he just had against Quay Fernandez was pretty brutal. I mean, he just had his legs chewed up and he couldn't even stand up, and the fight gets stopped there. That was really a rough look. So, and I'm just pulling up the money line here on Rahiki, which I'm going to lock you in at -258 on Rahiki
Okay.
on the money line there. And then Mo, what do you like here?
Okay.
Honestly, I love Rahiki and over 1.5 rounds. Same bet I'm taking with Charles Johnson. It's plus 105 for me. I think Rahiki hits like a bus, but Hardwick has a really good chin. He's only ever been finished in his first ever UFC fight, and it was due to leg kicks. He has a really, really tough chin. He's very hard to finish. Even though Rahiki hits like a bus, like I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna get that KO unless it's late in the fight. And Hardwick has a really good gas tank, so I don't even know if I could rely on that finish even late in the fight. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna go with over 1.5 with the Rahiki money line. I have it listed at plus 100 here. Actually, it's not 105. It's plus 100.
Okay, so plus 100 for Rahiki to win this fight, and the fight has to surpass the halfway marker. So even if he gets a finish in the second half of the fight, he's still good. If the fight goes to a decision, he's still good. Can get a sub, KO, whatever in the second half of the fight. Just has to pass that halfway marker. That's kind of the teaser there. So, okay, we got you locked in at plus 100 on that Rahiki play. All right, and then Mo,
Yeah,
I'm going to – go ahead, Mo.
I was looking at decision props.
Hold on, Mo. You just chirped out there for a second. Hit us with that again. Go ahead. You're good. I think you're good now. Mo, you there? I don't think Mo can hear us. Mo, you there? All right, we'll give Mo a second.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. There you go. Yeah, we didn't catch any of that though. Start over. Let us know what you were saying. Debut jitters.
Oh, I said that Hardwick has a really good. You guys heard this part about Hardwick's chin and everything and his cardio?
Yeah. We caught all that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like I was saying, I was looking at Rahiki's decision prop at plus 275, but I'd rather play
all right, Mo. Mo, you're kind of chirping out on us. But Drew, we'll go over. We'll go to the next fight. And Drew, you kick us off here. We're gonna jump up to
the Kutalaba.
I'll give it to you 1 second. Let me just see. I want to go to the actual UFC card and make sure that this is going in the correct bout order. So from there, we're gonna jump up to do the Andre Fili versus Jose Delgado match. How about that? We'll jump into Fili versus Delgado.
Gotcha. Give me 2 seconds.
Which, this is a fight, and I'll just preview it for you guys real quick. Delgado's coming off a very controversial decision loss, which I believe that was his first loss right inside the UFC. He's looked really good since coming through Dana White's Contender Series, a nasty striker. And like I said, a lot of people had him winning that last bout. If you take a look at the major media scoring, everyone pretty much had him, and a lot of people had him winning that fight against Nathaniel Wood, 30-27. So, Drew, you ready to hit this one up here for us?
Yeah, man. So again, just playing it. Another one's playing it safe, but I got Delgado minus 390 for the money line. He's 3-1, and I know that, like we just said, that Nathaniel Wood that unanimous decision loss kind of sucked, but all his professional wins are by stoppage. Every single one, whether by KO or TKO or by submission, are awesome. Andre Fili, to me, he's so inconsistent. I've been behind him a couple times as far as betting goes, and I swear it's every time like it's the same thing when I bet against Waldo Cortez Acosta. I bet against that guy like 5 times. I've lost every single time. That guy's my arch rival. But anyway, as far as Delgado goes, he's able to switch stances, which really confuses a lot of his opponents. He comes at his opponents with unpredictable angles, especially it disrupts a lot of his opponents' defensive reads. He doesn't really rely solely on his hands. He has knees, he has kicks, and ground and pound sequences are really, really good in terms of his finishing set. In terms of that, I would as long as he exploits Andre Fili early on, I think he's got it. He sets up his power combos pretty good, and then he crashes his opponents with body head combos. I think he's got it all day. I'm going to say Delgado money line, and I got that clocked in. I know it's minus 390, but that's what I got for that one.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, you could target on this show, man. It's all about profit. You could throw your unit, and at least you feel confident you're going to bring your unit back. You can throw minus 900 favorite if you feel like it. You know what I mean? It's whatever you think is the right strategy to profit more units on the card, man. That's what the show's all about. So don't ever, you know what I mean? Like some people, I really can't stand when people say that. You get that a lot. I get it in the comment section sometimes when I do my full card breakdowns. People are like, "Oh, you're targeting a big favorite, or you like a big favorite," whoop-de-doo. But you know what, man? If that's what you see on tape and you feel confident about it, and you could be looking at a minus 400 favorite, and you could still see value on that line, right? I mean, if you feel they should be a minus 600, you know what I mean? If you feel that they win that fight so many times out of 100 times if they fought, and you see value on it, why not target it? So, and I'm pulling up the.
I just like a money stays green. Just trying to stack your bankroll. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you said that you got, what was the line you got on that?
I got minus 390 for Delgado on that one.
I see that pretty much across the board too. It's right in that range. So I'm going to lock you in minus 390 on the ML. And then hopefully our boys' internet's working good over here. What do you got for us, Mo? Can we hear you? We hear you. You sound good. I jinxed him.
Yeah, I just had to turn off everything. It says I have 5 bars. I don't know.
So
you guys
what do you
hear
see?
Me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. What's your target here?
For this fight, I'm going with Delgado by knockout at minus 110. It was plus earlier in the week at like plus 110. Now it's minus 110. After his last fight, I don't think he's going to let this fight go to the scorecards because he got robbed blind in his last fight. It was absolutely ridiculous that they gave it to the other fight. I was literally in shock. Like, I can't believe that happened. So I personally believe he's going into this fight with something on his shoulders, and he's there and knock him out in round 1 specifically. But I'm just gonna go with the regular knockout minus 110. He has some submissions in his game, but we haven't seen a submission since his first fight before the UFC. I believe it was in Tough Enough. He got a Darce choke, and Philly has been knocked out 4 times, submitted 3 times. I just don't see this fight going the distance. I think Delgado is gonna go out there and put it on him.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm locking you in on that KO. I'm going to lock you in even better. I'm going to get you better odds there because I see it as high as plus 110. I'm going to lock you in at even odds, plus 100 for Delgado to get a KO. You got 3 rounds to get a KO. Delgado's a nasty striker. I kind of like the mindset you had there in the sense that maybe he should have a little bit more of a sense of urgency, which he's shown that he's already dangerous. On his shoulder. Yeah. So
the way he knocked out Hyder Emil was ridiculous, and Hyder Emil has an insane chin. That was just
that
insane.
Flying knee smoked that motherfucker right there. That was gone.
Crazy,
dude. That was
bro.
Awesome.
I had $3,000 on Delgado that fight, and I literally I'm driving to FanDuel on my phone watching the fight. I'm driving to FanDuel. I start going crazy after that knockout. I thought it was gonna be a decision. Honestly, I couldn't believe he knocked him out that quick and easily.
Yeah, nice little hit there, huh? But
yeah,
all right,
so happy.
Mo, I'm going to stick with you. We're going to jump up. Now, this fight, this is interesting because the line, it's wide, and you have a fighter that's been a little inconsistent, although people have been high on him. The one fight that he had against Alonzo Menefield was definitely a little bit of a bummer there. And Umar C, he's taking on Ian Cutelaba. What do you like here?
For Cutelaba and Sai?
Sai, yeah.
I'm honestly... I'm not really high on C, bro. I don't know, man. He's so inconsistent. He's like, sometimes he goes in there with jitters and he's like scared to fight. Other times he goes in there and he's a monster. It's like, I can't trust him with my money. You know what I mean? Let me see. I think I'm going to have to go with the over in this fight just because I know there's going to be a lot of wrestling, and the over 1.5 is minus 150. So I personally believe that that's a great line. Cutelaba has great submission defense. I know, although he's been submitted a couple times, it's not bad. He's actually very good on the ground, and that's where he excels his game. He's not the best striker. He's actually a really good grappler. So I personally believe, and Sai is also a grappler. I personally believe this is going to go over 1.5 rounds unless Sai bombs him with an overhand in the first round.
Okay, over 1.5, which I'll peek at that real quick. I'm seeing over 1.5 for this bout. Let's see what we're pulling up over here. And I like the mindset, though. I kind of like what you're saying. I could see that being the case, too, because we've seen both these fighters have a history of having those kind of performances, right? Cutelaba loves to close the distance.
I personally believe that. 100%. I personally believe there's value on Cutelaba. I was about to take him as the dog, but I'd rather play it safe because I know they're both going to wrestle for sure.
You said over 1.5, correct? Not over 2.5, right? Over 1.5? Mo?
1.5, yes.
Over 1.5. I'm going to lock you in at plus 115.
Yeah, over 1.5.
Plus 115, I got you. All right. Plus 115 on the over.
You got it. Plus 115. What sports book is that?
Right now, you can get it pretty much across the board around there. I see it plus 120. Right now, plus 115 on Bet Online, plus 120 on Bovada, plus 109 on my bookie, plus 114 on Bet US.
Are you talking about the under?
Oh, excuse me.
The under?
Excuse me. See, now we know Mo's a good. We know Mo. Look, you know what we just did? We tested Mo. Like, you ever see those Instagram videos where the guy pulls up the envelope of money and that he's going down the aisle in Walmart and he goes, "Hey, did you drop this envelope of money?" And he does these videos with the camera on the glass. Although I wasn't doing it on the glass.
KoMoe.
Hey, but you know what? But he was being honest.
Don't worry. Yeah,
we know Mo's a good guy.
No, trust me, you confused me, bro. I'm like plus 120. I'll fucking slam that. What? Give me that. I was like plus 120. Where do you see that?
How about minus 135? I'm seeing, and I was looking at that backwards. Minus 135.
I'll take that.
Yeah, minus 135 on the over 1.5. All right, Drew, what do you see here?
Boys, we're going on the wild side with this one. I'm saying Sai round 1 finish. I got that at plus 235. My reasoning is obviously he absorbs very few strikes compared to his output. Statistically, he's got a really good strike defense, and I know he's still early on in his UFC career, but he does have 8 first-round finishes to his name. Like Mo said, there's a strong possibility it does go to the ground, but Sai's grappling is nothing to be fucked with either. He's got a really, really good rear naked choke. He can definitely defend himself off his back, which I like. Cutelaba, I do see value there, but again, to me, he's another guy that's super inconsistent. He leaves his neck open when he goes in for takedowns. He burns energy really, really quickly in round 1. He starts off super aggressive and his output kind of dives over the later rounds. But if he's not able to bully Sai, I think that's where he's really going to, falter. So as long as Sai keeps, the fight at long range, he's able to use his uppercuts and counters really well. I'm going to say it ends in round 1. I'm going Sai round 1 finish. That's I got
round
that
1 finish. Okay, plus 235. So that finish can come anyway, a submission or a KO. He just needs to get that job done in the first round against Cutelaba, which we definitely have seen Cutelaba finished off the top of my head. We've definitely seen him, I believe, finish in the first round. I know we've seen him finished a couple times in the octagon in general. So from there, we're going to jump up to this. This is about where some people are saying if Jillian Robertson goes out here and gets a W, that she potentially could be next to face off with Mackenzie Dern to fight for the belt.
I love it.
Yeah, Bo, you love it. So then you'll kick us off of this, man. Jillian Robertson versus Amanda Lemos. What are you seeing here?
Right here, I'm seeing that every single time Amanda Lemos goes against a grappler, she loses every single time, and it's not even a question. Like, if you go back to her track record, every single person that's a wrestler, she's lost to because she has horrible takedown defense and horrible get-ups. She'll literally accept bottom position the whole round, and it'll cost her the whole round, and then she'll realize in round 3, oh, I'm down 2 rounds, and she'll start going for it, which I personally don't like about her. If Jillian can't get her down, though, Amanda Lemos is going to have a field day on the feet, but Jillian Robertson's a demon when it comes to takedowns. She's going to literally shoot 10 times in one round. She reminds me of the Marab of this weight class for women. So I personally believe Jillian Robertson is going to wet blanket her and do whatever she wants.
Okay. Robertson. And give us that one. You said Robertson on the what was the money line?
Robertson on the money line.
Robertson on the money line.
I could see potential sub, but listen, I'm here to make money. I'm trying to play it safe. I'm here to win.
Yeah. And I'm locking you in at minus 200. If that sounds good to you. I see that pretty much regularly. Yep. Okay. Drew, what do you see here?
Yeah, it's minus 198.
I see a couple minus 190s. I got you. Minus 190. Drew, you there? What do you got? Oh,
there we go. I don't know why it keeps kicking me. The fucking Macintoshes. What was this? Hey Mo, what was your prop? What was it?
Mine is just Jillian Robertson money line, but I could definitely see her getting the sub here.
So I 100% right there, 200 with you. I got Jillian Robertson by submission plus 250. What's not to like about Jillian Robertson? That's on Bet MGM is what I got for that one. But it's
let me shop these odds for you real quick.
Okay,
Go ahead. Yeah, no, Drew, go ahead. Let us know why you like that.
Yeah. Her chain wrestling is phenomenal. I don't think it's a question if she gets you down. I think it's a question of when she gets you down. If first you don't succeed, she just goes and goes and goes in terms of getting you down.
She's literally the Marab of this weight class.
I completely agree. She's riding a 4-fight win streak. She's got great clinch work and extremely good heavy hips when it comes to dominant position. And it's always position over submission for her. Once she gets a good position on you, it's only a matter of time till she subs you out. I know her striking isn't really good, like Mo said. It's still kind of in the developing stage rather than it being dangerous. But I just think she's just too much for Lemos. Lemos' takedown defense is pretty much lackluster. It's not really a big threat. So give me Robertson via submission.
All right, Robertson.
Listen,
via
I'm
submission.
super high on Robertson.
I'm locking you in at plus 300.
Fucking A.
Yeah, we're locking
Robertson in her last fight cashed me in my Discord at plus 1,300 for the KO. I believe it was on what's her name, Marina Rodriguez, and then Marina Rodriguez retired after that.
Marina,
is she still fighting or?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know she's up there in age. I mean, she had some nasty striking. She never really was able to put it all together. She had that Muay Thai background, the striking background, but yeah, no.
Yeah, and then I caught Jillian at plus 1,300 that fight.
How about this one though? Josh Emmett in the main event taking on Kevin Vallejos. Am I wrong there? I tried to put in some work here in my video. I was pronouncing him Kevin Vallejos, and then people were making fun of me. I try to is Kevin Vallejos?
I think it's Kevin Vallejos.
Well, whenever you're watching the broadcast. But when you watch the broadcast, they pronounce it Vallejos. I think that's like the actual way, like
maybe that's how you say it in like Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that would be like the real way to say it. You know what I mean? With the little, that's like the real authentic way. I guess the American way would be like Kevin Vallejos, but I try to do some homework and get my pronunciation even sharper, and people are making fun of me. But I'm going to stick with Kevin Vallejos until I'm watching on Saturday and all of a sudden they throw me a curveball and change it to Vallejos. But Mo, we'll start with you here. What do you like in the main event?
We'll probably have Michael Bisping saying it Vallejos and then Anik saying it Vallejos.
Yeah, exactly.
But what do you like for this fight? I'm going with Mini Taporia. I'm gonna just have to go with his wait, let me check. Let me double check what I had. Cause I'm going with the over 3.5 rounds at minus 120. I think
over.
Let
me just make sure I got that. He said over 3.5 rounds at minus 20.
Minus 120. Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure everyone heard
it. The reason why I like that pick is because we've seen Josh Emmett go the full 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria, and he's the only fighter to ever survive Ilia Topuria and go the distance. Not just 3 rounds, 5 rounds. So if Topuria, one of the greatest knockout fighters in that weight class ever, couldn't knock him out, I personally don't think Vallejos is going to knock him out, even though Vallejos is like that, and I think he's a mini Topuria. So don't get me wrong, though. In Vallejos' last fight, he knocked out somebody who has never been knocked out either. So you never know with this kid. That's why he's so good, and that's why everybody loves him. He has 12 knockouts out of 17 wins. He's only been to the distance 4 times. You know what I'm saying? He knocked out Giga with a spinning back fist, and Giga has never been knocked out, although he's up in age. He's versing another aged fighter at 41 years old than Josh Emmett, but I just think Josh Emmett is too durable. He's like, I think he's gonna get lit up. I think it could probably be like a 50-45, a 49-46. But I think it's going over 3.5 rounds, and I personally like Kevin Vallejos' decision at plus 240 as well. So
which one do you like more there?
3.5, play it safe because I'm trying to win here, but
yeah.
I'm playing it safe. Yeah, I'm playing it safe, but I'm just giving the heads up. I'm definitely betting Vallejos plus 240 as well.
All right. And then we'll go over to you, Drew. What do you like here? This is the main event, man. Hey, Drew, remember now, you never know. This could be coming down to the wire. What you do here. This could be
a lot of good locks that I like too.
You know what I mean? This could be this match could be going down to that main event, and what you do here could be the difference in you winning this match or not.
So for my bet that I got in, I'm going to go Vallejos minus 140 with the finish. If it was just a 3-round guy, then I figured it would be like over 3. It'd be probably by decision. Since it's a 5-round main event, I'm definitely saying Josh Emmett welters in the kind of the later rounds. probably by end of round 3, end of round 4, that's where he's going to really put it on him, and that's where I think he's going to get the TKO. Vallejos' hands are super fast, and he's got those super powerful hooks and straight punches that you just can't get away from. Josh Emmett, I mean, he just takes he's inconsistent, but he takes too much time off, in my opinion, in between fights. I know he's got, whether it be like some mental stuff going on or just rehabbing some physical injuries, but I just think the UFC's not doing him any favors. They're throwing him to a young, hungry lion in Vallejos, and he's a beast, dude. So he forces his opponents to make mistakes. He creates those knockout opportunities, just as Mo said with the Giga Chikadze. Again, I understand that his aggressive, approach that can lead to counter strikes, if he gets a little too aggressive. But I just don't. And Josh Emmett's got a one-hit wonder that can literally dust anybody. I mean that. I'm sure freaking Bryce will still have that fucking like nightmares of him getting pieced out like that. So
that was brutal.
I'm going with Vallejos for the win. Be it finish, KO, TKO, inside of 5 rounds.
So you got Vallejos via KO, huh? Via
Correct.
KO/TKO.
Mm.
What do you see there? I could pull it up for you if you need to.
Also,
I got mine.
I just want to point out that.
What'd you get there? Oh, second, Drew. What'd you get?
I also want to point out that.
I'm sorry. Drew, what'd you get there?
Minus 140. My bad, bro.
No, you're good. Minus 140 on the Vallejos KO. 25 minutes to do it. And Mo, what'd you want to point out there? You wanted to point something out to us?
I wanted to add into this that Vallejos went the full distance with Gene Silva, and we know Gene Silva also finishes everybody. If Gene Silva didn't finish him, I don't think Josh Emmett's going to finish him with a lucky overhand, because he's only going to be able to knock him out with an overhand, right? And I don't see it happening.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. That's gonna wrap up the battle here. I'm gonna bring Doug in a second. For those of you guys that are watching, Doug is actually in the UFC Apex right now. We're gonna talk a couple different things, but I want to thank both these guys for coming in, and you're gonna see a lot more from them. We're gonna I'll be posting graphics. We're gonna see who wins this. Listen, I hope to bring them both back on regardless, but the winner is the one that's gonna get that momentum. They're gonna have that golden ticket to hit the teller up and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to hop on this week. I want to take your boy Doug.
I'll see you soon, Doug."
I see you, Doug. I see you, Doug, in the Apex.
You know what? Hold on real quick before I let you guys
soon,
go.
Dougie, don't worry.
Hold on. You know what?
Doug,
check this out.
You got a bullet on your back, bro, or target on your back.
Oh, watch this. You ready for this?
Oh, there he is. He's in the Apex right now.
Oh,
Doug. What's up, Doug?
Doug, your audio's not working, though, if you can hear us. Let's see if we
Sorry, guys. No, I was watching along. Great show. It's nice to meet both of you guys.
Here it is.
And yeah, maybe we'll see each other in the future.
Brother.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to send you two off.
It's a matter of when, Doug. We're coming for you.
Let's go. Anyone, anywhere, anytime.
There we go. And hey, guys, I'll DM you other two. I appreciate you for coming on, man.
Have fun at the Apex tomorrow, Doug.
Bro, you guys take it easy. Appreciate you having me on.
Nice to meet you,
bro. I'll see you soon, Teller. Good luck.
Thank you. And then, let's get you in here, Doug. There we go. What's up, Doug? Man, they're calling you out there, man. They're calling you out.
I got a target on my back, but hey, when you're 3-0, that shit happens, you know?
That's a good thing, man. How's everything going, man? So yeah, you are in the Apex, huh?
Good, man. Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. We obviously had 326 last week, and then we just haven't really stopped. We had Zuffa boxing over here at the Apex on Sunday. I was in LA on Tuesday for Ronda Rousey's press conference, which was pretty interesting. And now I'm back at the Apex here for some jiu-jitsu, UFC BJJ.
Awesome. Yeah, how was the press conference? I'm curious about that. I know you were over there between Rousey and Carano, and of course Ngannou in the co-main event, right? Of course, you'll be in the co-main event there against Felipe Lins.
It was interesting for sure. It was over at the Intuit Dome in LA. They had the press conference outside in like a staging area. Ariel Helwani hosted it. I was able to ask Ronda the first question, which was pretty cool. So yeah, it was scenes. It was funny because you have Gina and you have Ronda and you have Francis up on stage, and poor Philippe is over. He was definitely the odd man out because no one really cared what he had to say. So I felt bad for him, but it's a big opportunity for him fighting Francis Ngannou. We all know what happened with him in the UFC. I think we don't really know what happened. He was 4-0 when the UFC cut him, I think he was maybe dealing with some health issues or something. He didn't really dive into that, but it's a big opportunity. Unfortunately, he's facing Francis Ngannou, though.
Yeah, that's certainly a big opportunity, right? But I mean, that's what these fighters want. They want a chance to make a big name for themselves. But when he's locked in that cage, you know, and he's looking across over at Ngannou, that's got to be a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. That's and yeah, it was good seeing Ronda and Gina up on stage. I mean, it's a big fight, right? We all wish this fight was happening 10 years ago, but it's definitely going to be a spectacle. You know, Jake Paul was there. We've seen some back and forth now with, you know, it seems like Jake Paul and MVP might be trying to disrupt the space a little bit here, which I don't think is a bad thing for the sport. You know, competition's always good. I don't think the UFC will ever face competition, but I think if anyone can do it, it's MVP, Nikisa, and Jake Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there. You know, because obviously the other couple of promotions we've seen trying to hang with the UFC, if you even want to call it hang, just try to even show face next to them, it really wasn't working that well. What comes to mind to me is that the last promotion that was somewhat competitive in my eyes was like when I think back to like Strikeforce. You know, Strikeforce, the rosters that they had back then, they had some of the best fighters on planet Earth, and just the whole production was solid. And I mean, I don't even know if I want to say that, but there's like similar type of vibes. But obviously, you got to get more and more names. You got to get bigger names. But I'll tell you what, personally, even though this fight between Rousey and Carano is taking place so much later than it should have initially taken place, I'm still excited for it. I don't know. This one for me, it's like I'm excited for this fight.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And, you know, I think just going back to, you know, disrupting the space, you see this card and we've been hearing, you know, there's a little bit of disappointment with the UFC lately. I think people are expecting different fights in the White House card, maybe a little bit more buzz with the new Paramount deal. But I think as a disruptor in the space, like people at the end of the day, as fans, we just want to see the best fights. We don't really care about the rankings or who's champion, or we just want to see the baddest dudes and women on the planet get in the cage and fight each other. And if Jake Paul and MVP are going to put on shows where, you know, there's no titles involved, but it's the biggest fights, then that could definitely disrupt the space in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take this type of fight 100. Personally, I would take this type of fight 100 times over than some of these more gimmicky boxing matches. I'm not really into that. And I've been to them. I was sitting ringside for the Jake Paul versus Mike Perry fight, which, you know, it was somewhat entertaining, but I'm not as big of a fan of those types of matches, which originally I was a boxing fan, man. Before I got into MMA, when I was in elementary school, middle school, I was a huge boxing guy. So it's not like I don't love the sport of boxing, but I think that I would like to see that kind of little awkward twist that they do with the matchmaking with those boxing matches a little bit more in MMA. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it could be exciting. Some of those
I
big names.
I agree. Yeah.
But you did bring up the UFC White House event. We'll slide right over to that because since the last time we spoke, now we actually know what that card's looking like. Right? We got 6
fights. I have a lot of mud on my face because I was pretty certain that we were going to see either John Jones or Conor on that card, and obviously we didn't get either one. So lots of stuff went on behind the scenes. We all know that John's relationship with the UFC and Dana right now. So unfortunately, we're not going to see either one of them. And, you know, I think everybody's saying this. If we were just looking at this card as a normal pay-per-view, it's a stacked card. Mm-hmm. But with all of the hype surrounding the White House card announcement and being billed as, like, you know, we heard Trump say 6 or 7 title fights and all this stuff, I think it did fall a little bit short of those expectations.
Yeah, you know, and I've heard a lot of people kind of talking about the fact that Dana should have never overhyped the card because then the expectations, they wouldn't have been as big. Therefore, you wouldn't have all this negative feedback coming now. But, you know, when I heard someone say that, what kind of popped into my head is, first off, we know that Dana is one of the greatest promoters of all time. And what I was thinking it was the fact that right now we're all looking at this card as a little bit of a letdown. The fact that he oversold it from the beginning, since he did that, do we still actually see more viewership on the card when it's all said and done because he did that? Like regardless, right? Us as fans, we're a little frustrated here to kick things off, but when it's all said on a greater scale, do we have more green fans just tuning in because they've been hearing about this for years and it was so overhyped and oversold that it spread to the masses' ears, and it still ends up being a bigger event than it would have, even though us real fans know it's not as stacked as it was sold to be. I kind of was thinking that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, Dana has a lot on his plate now. I'm here at the Apex. He's got BJJ. He's got Zuffa. He's got Power Slap. So he definitely has his plate full. And I fall into that trap a lot too of over promising sometimes. He guaranteed us that John Jones was going to fight Tom Aspinall. There's been a lot of things that Dana has said that haven't come to fruition, but it's the fight game and things happen. So I do wish that maybe this is a learning lesson and we don't overhype things until they actually come to fruition.
Yeah. And I'll say this, just speaking on the card, I personally feel, I don't know the ins and outs, and I know a couple of fighters that we wanted on this card were injured, right? Like Kayla Harrison, I think she's still going through like the herniated disc or something, with her back or whatnot. There was rumors about Makhachev having some kind of hand injury. So you have some of those rumors going on, or, let's say that's true. I still feel like the UFC could have put a better card together. I don't know. I mean, like if you were to tell me if the UFC couldn't get Colby Covington to fight on this card and throw him in there with Bo Nickel, they couldn't throw enough money at him. And on top of the fact that Colby wanted to fight at the White House, they couldn't get him to get a little bit of a bad blood type matchup with Bo Nickel. And I know he'd be going up in weight, but he's an aging fighter. Would he not go up in weight and try to showcase that he's the better mixed martial artist and maybe make Bo look green? I don't know. I wanted to see a fight like that. I mean, could they not get Corey Sandhagen to face off with Sugar Sean O'Malley?
Sorry to interrupt you. That I think, as we see that what the card looks like, I do think that Colby's probably ducking Bo, and I don't think that obviously the UFC probably called Colby and he probably asked for a ridiculous amount of money to fight Bo, which the UFC just wasn't willing to come up with. I also, and I think I mentioned it last week on the show, I do think that because there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this card, that the UFC was probably very selective about who they put on it. They don't want guys like Strickland or Colby or Hokett or these guys that say some pretty inflammatory stuff because of the new Paramount deal. So I do think maybe that played a factor into it because Colby does say some outlandish things at times. But yeah, I think the biggest miss, and I don't know what happened. From my perspective, it does seem that maybe Sean ducked Corey because I don't know why Zahabi. It just doesn't make sense that Corey isn't fighting Sean on that card. I think that was the biggest miss, to be honest.
Yeah. That Sandhagen O'Malley fight's been talked about for quite some time. Now, in a positive sense, I will say this, now that I'm thinking about it, the USA has been battling Canada in a lot of big time matches as of recently, right? The women's hockey team, the USA defeats Canada in the Olympics. The men's hockey team defeated Canada. Now, I think tomorrow or coming up here soon, now we have the World Baseball Classic. USA is going to be taking on Canada. You already know USA is going to spank them. So the USA will be 3-0 against Canada there. Now I'm kind of looking at that fight a little bit and understanding, okay, you got a little bit of a USA versus Canada concept to it. And Zahabi, he's kind of overachieved in my opinion, right? He was a fighter that was kind of looked at as just a pedestrian dude, the brother of one of the better coaches in the game, but he's been going out there and looking decent. So you could kind of say that fight is somewhat exciting, right? Sugar Sean O'Malley in it anyway.
Oh no, it's a good fight. I think when looking at it, when you look at those top three fights, I mean, and it's on the South Lawn of the White House, as much as I love Justin, there's a very good chance that he ends up unconscious in that main event. And and if you had put Sean and Corey together, then it's a win-win because an American wins no matter what. And then in the co-main, as much as I like Alex, he's moving up in weight, and he's no joke. So then you have Alex losing too. So I do question the matchmaking a little bit. But it was either Islam or Justin for Ilya. So I think. Yeah.
And when it comes to the Topuria fight, and I've heard people say some, there's a solid point to be made. I mean, Gaethje is next up in line based off the fact that he has that title. But really, us fans that know what's going on, I mean, it should be Sarukian that should be next, and that's a fight that I think people would be more excited for. Not to say you can't put a spin on it and say, Gaethje's so entertaining, let's see if he could show up, but a lot of us feel he's going to get knocked out in that fight. Whereas if we were to see Sarukian versus Topuria, I mean, that's such a high level fight. I mean, those are the types of fights I wanted to see on this card. And then another fight, I threw this out there. I know it's a little bit out there, but if the UFC were to do something like this, I think this is where you would have this crazy buzz around the card. And I don't see why they couldn't pull these strings. They're supposed to be, powerful enough to make these moves. I don't know the behind the scenes, but Derek Lewis, right? I know Derek Lewis has been losing as of recently, and he's starting to get to the end of the road. But Derek Lewis is as American as it gets. When you're talking about like representing the USA, he's the knockout king. Why couldn't they get? I mean, I don't know if Gable Stevenson would even want that fight. I think he would. I think he's a competitor that would take on any type of challenge. Imagine you saw Gable Stevenson making his UFC debut, a gold medalist coming in with the wrestling aspect, taking on the knockout king, right? You got one American's going to win regardless. If Gable wins that fight, boom, he's on the map. That's it. And there is a path to victory. He can go out there, use his wrestling. I think he could have easily went out there and defeated Lewis. Some people are saying, Lewis would
he'd probably be a favorite against Derek at this point. Yeah.
Right. I mean, because he goes in there and just wrestles Lewis, and he's not going to stop. Lewis is going to have to land that KO, and that fight would have been so exciting. You get that fight to kick off this event. I mean, just people have been saying that things have been a little lackluster over there as of recently, and I think those are the kind of moves you need to do to kind of shake things up and remind everybody that, listen, we're the cream of the crop. We're not only are we the number one MMA promotion, whatever, but we're making those moves to entertain you guys. Get everyone talking about some fights. And I would have loved to see that fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I do still think, I mean, I hear buzzes just being around the building and stuff. I do still think there's an outside shot. We see Gable on that card. But you never know. One point I did want to make when you're just talking about Derek Lewis, and I don't know how much there is behind it, but I did see that Steve Garcia said when Hunter Campbell called him, the first question he asked was about his criminal background. And you would think that Hunter and the UFC would know about his criminal background and not have to ask him about that. But I don't know if that also played a factor into it, like guys that can't maybe get security clearances and stuff like that. So
was that in regards to Lewis, you're saying? Derek Lewis?
No. Well, yes, because Derek, but it all ties together, because when Derek was first asked about it, when the White House card was like not announced, but when they said there were going to be fights there, he joked around and said, "I don't know if I can get a security clearance." So
yeah, because he was in prison, right? Lewis, he was in prison.
I believe he does have some criminal background in his past. Yeah. So yeah. I thought that was funny when Steve Garcia said that. But speaking of Steve Garcia, what an opportunity for him too. I mean, an American kid getting to fight on the White House. I mean, he has one main event against Onama, I think. That's a big come up for him for sure.
Oh yeah, and he's the type of fighter, he goes under the radar based off, for whatever reason. We all know that there's a couple of those fighters, maybe the name seems a little bit generic. They don't speak out too much, but then when they're in the cage, I mean, they're real entertainers. Like Steve Garcia is that guy. If you think about pound for pound who's in the cage delivering, Steve Garcia is right there. And I heard a lot of people were talking about, I guess he befriended Charlie Kirk, and maybe there was a little connection there. I guess he had a connection with Charlie Kirk.
Yes, I forgot about that, but yes, you're right. Yeah. He spoke about that after he beat Onama in the post-fight presser. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean,
I think, not sorry to interrupt you, but I think he's live in that fight. I mean, I love Diego. I think he's great for the sport, and even like at the 326 press conference, he still gets one of the biggest pops when he walks in the building. Like, fans love Diego. I just think he's overrated as a fighter. I think he is the rightful favorite here, but Steve Garcia is no joke, and I think he's live as an underdog there. So,
yeah, you want to pop up these odds real quick? Is that what should we do that?
Yeah, we can take a quick look. I was trying to find them, but they're not populated where I'm looking. Maybe I'm looking in the right place.
Let me see. I'm going to pull them up for you real quick because I thought I saw them the other day. I did. Let me see. I pulled them up real quick.
Speaking of the White House, I literally, as we're speaking, just got an email that my credential was approved for the White House, so I will be there.
Let's go. The Golden Goose is going to be in attendance. Hey, you got to be undefeated. That's the goal right now. You got to be undefeated rolling into the White House. Who knows at that time, 10-0, whatever you are at the time.
Yeah.
And I'll just pop up a couple of these odds real quick, and you just let me know what you think about these odds, okay? So we're going to start off with, all right, you already gave us your thoughts, right? So I'm looking at, these are rough odds, but Garcia is a plus 115 dog. Diego Lopez is a minus 135 favorite. And you're liking that plus value on Garcia there, huh?
I love it. I would grab that right away. Now, you never know where the money's going to come in. It's an American. Maybe the money comes in on Steve Late. So, I would jump on that right now.
And then from there, I'm going to pull it up as well. But let me know what you think about this. Bo Nickel, roughly a minus 250 favorite against Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus, right around a plus 205. Daukaus, another guy that has a great opportunity, right? A fighter that's he got cut from the UFC, had a lot of success on the regional scene, comes back in. He's looking better than ever. I actually interviewed him a long time ago, and I was doing fighter interviews like 4 or 5 years ago when he was like just coming into the UFC. And I talked to his brother a couple of times too. His brother's a good dude. And it's good to see him putting it together. What do you think about Daukaus as a plus 205 dog compared to Nickel? The comeback on Nickel is a minus 250 favorite.
Yeah, like you said, it's a great story for Daukaus here, fighting on the regional scene after getting cut by the UFC. I think Bo Nickel's a little overhyped here. I think that line's a little wide. I will lean towards the Bo side. I think he does have better wrestling, and I think he's probably the bigger guy too, right? At 185.
Over Daukaus?
Yeah. So I think Daukaus is pretty long for the division, but I think the line's a little long, but I think that we'll lean on the Bo side for now.
Okay, we'll leave with Bo. Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess Bo. I got to pull up the numbers off the top of my head. Off the top of my head, I just know that Daukaus he's pretty big too. Like you said, he's long. He is long for the division.
Daukaus, I'm looking right. He's 6'3" with a 76-inch reach, and Bo has they have the same reach. So I guess they're about it. Daukaus is a little taller, but same reach, I guess.
Yeah, but another tricky puzzle and a big test for Nickel after what we saw RDR do to him, right? It's just a rangy dude. And I would say, I don't know. I mean, the way things are looking right now, Daukaus is striking. I think Daukaus is striking I almost want to say much better than RDR. I mean, Daukaus is a legit boxer.
I would agree with that. And I think, I would agree with that. And there's a lot. I mean, there's a ton of all the pressures on Bo, right? I mean, he golfs with the president. He's the American collegiate legend. So I can't imagine the pressure that's going to be on him. I think he has the most pressure on the card, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way there. It's a big moment. I mean, after what we saw in that RDR fight, at the very least, you don't want it to look like that. Because imagine you go out there, on the White House lawn and you get ran through. Imagine, you break down and it looks like you're just getting battered and you almost kind of quit. Not quit, but you know what I mean? Just not how that last fight looked. That would not be a good look. And then from there, how about this? Mauricio Rufy taking on Michael Chandler. So they did find a way to get Chandler on this card. I think Chandler's been the fact that he's on this card is a little bit under the radar based off the fact that people have kind of forgotten about him. All the talks about him supposed to be facing off with McGregor. Now people kind of forgot that he's still a very exciting fighter and he's just having a tough time getting his hand raised. But we do know that he entertains. He will look to show up and put on a show for us. So Chandler's a plus 475 underdog. Rufy's a minus 650. So we didn't get that Conor McGregor fight, funny enough, but we have the Brazilian Conor McGregor as far as the fighting style goes. I mean, he looks just like McGregor in there with the striking. How do you see that one going?
That's a very good point. Yeah, I'm happy for Michael. He's been a good company guy. He always, he hasn't had the best run in the UFC, but he does always put on these banger fights. Obviously, super USA, proud American. So I'm happy he got the opportunity. Unfortunately, they're feeding him to Hoofy here. And I think there's levels to this game. And I think based on it, the odds reflect it, right? I think Hoofy's the younger guy, longer. Yeah. So Chandler got on the card. Chandler, I think Chandler would have a better chance of beating Conor than he does against Mauricio, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Hoofy is not the guy you want to face, right? He had that tough loss against BSD, right? Against BSD.
Yeah.
It looks like he went back to the drawing board. He's super motivated and hungry. He looked phenomenal in that last fight. And he was an underdog. I mean, the lines moved a little bit, but in that last bout, he was a dog. Name slipping my mind right now. Who did he just
Rafael Fiziev.
Yeah, against Fiziev, right? And he got that finish, and he looked phenomenal. So he's peaking. He's active. I mean, that's a really tough task for Chandler, and I think you're going to see a massive size disadvantage for Chandler. I think you're going to see this. They're going to look very different in the octagon. I think Chandler's getting knocked out on the White House lawn. So,
yeah, unfortunately, because I mean, you can't not like Michael Chandler. Like, you know, but it's a big opportunity. It's good for his brand. Maybe he can weather the storm, and we'll see.
Yeah, he's going to have to go to that wrestling. And the thing with Chandler is, even though he has that wrestling pedigree, he never really looks to use it. So that's the thing. And I feel confident in saying he's going to go out there and look to put on a show. And that's going to
definitely
really catch up with him.
Hoofy's not the guy you want to be shooting in lazily against either, because it won't end well for you.
Yeah. And then from there, we were just talking about Ayman Sahabi getting this opportunity. Sahabi's coming in as a pretty decent-sized underdog, which doesn't surprise me. Sugar Sean O'Malley has that big name. Zahabi right now right around a plus 285. O'Malley's right around a minus 350. You think O'Malley's deserving to be as big of a favorite as he is right now?
I think so. I mean, like you said, Zahabi's on a pretty good run here at 135, but there's levels to this game. I think my minus 350 might be a little wide, but I think it's probably priced right pretty correctly there. I think, O'Malley wants to fight for the title again, and if he wins this, he has the Dana White privilege. So if he wins this one, he will be fighting for the title next, guaranteed.
Yeah, I can see that. And then we got Alex Bejeda, right? He vacated his light heavyweight championship belt. He's coming up to take on Cyril Gahn, who looked really good against Tom Aspinall. I mean, people could say what they want about that fight. It obviously ended in an unfortunate type of way. I think there's a lot of merit to people were saying, they brought up a lot of examples of fights where one said fighter looked good in the first round and then got smoked in the following round. So, I mean, who's to say how that fight was going to go? But he looked really damn good as long as that fight lasted. I mean, he was touching Aspinall up. And now Alex Bejeda versus Cyril Gahn. I mean, that's a crazy fight there.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. And if there's there's a letdown, because if this was on any other card, it would obviously be headlining and be one of the biggest fights of the year. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to sleep on this one a little bit more. Obviously the UFC wants Alex to win. He'd be the first 3-division champion ever. You know, it's an interim title, but I don't think that really matters. Alex is fighting for GOAT status, or at least Mount Rushmore status, if he goes out there and wins here. It's a tough matchup, though. At moving up to heavyweight, Gahn is very, very athletic for that division. We saw he was piecing up Aspinall in that fight before it ended. So I'm gonna not make a pick here yet. I have to think about it a little bit more. But
that's a smart move. You know why that's a smart move? Because everyone's they're looking to get you. I mean, you see the comment section, how can I participate in the profit pit? And now you're showing your cards. So everyone's taking notes. You know, who's Doug going to be targeting on the White House? So hold those cards a little tight. If you want, I think this one here, it won't be a big surprise. In the main event, Gaethje is a big underdog. He's a plus 425 dog right now. Topuria is a minus 600. I think this is another match where I think it's going to play out exactly how a lot of us feel it's going to play out. Similarly to that Chandler fight, where Topuria, his boxing is just way too clean. It's too nasty. In my opinion, it's the best boxing in MMA right now. And Gaethje, he had a nice little win. He showed up and he showed his heart and all that. But I think that he's still vulnerable to not only just losing this fight, but I think he gets knocked out. I think he gets finished in that fight.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning now. I mean, he's been in so many wars, and I think Ilya is going to come in there pissed, because from everything I heard, it was Islam. They were supposed to fight at 170. They offered Ilya either or. He picked Islam at 170, and we saw what he was saying on social media, accusing Islam of ducking him again. Yeah, if Justin goes out there and does win, I mean, we're talking like miracle on ice, right? On the White House lawn, he beats Ilya Taporia. I mean, the scenes there would be that might be the biggest moment in the promotion's history if he goes out there and does win. You can never count him out. He was a huge underdog against Patty. Everybody was counting him out against Patty, and he pieced him up for 5 rounds. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it ends well for Justin, but if he does win, that's going to be scenes at the White House.
Yeah, I mean that would be a wild way to end that event for America too. I mean that would be crazy. And
Yeah.
just looking at Taporia real quick, I'll pop him up, and we'll wrap this up here in a second. But you think about Taporia's last victory, right? He was just running through Legends Row, knocking out Holloway, Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira, and I'm trying to remember exactly how that fight played out against Dubronx, but as good as he's looking right now, what he just did to Max Holloway, that was ridiculous. I mean, his grappling, the wrestling, it's just going to extra levels. And then you think about how Taporia, if I remember, I think Charles, I don't know, I'm trying to remember how many clinch exchanges they had, or if Oliveira tried to get in on him and get a takedown. But one thing I know for sure, I don't believe he was taken
against Taporia.
Yeah, did
Yeah,
Charles?
They did go to the mat, and then Ilya got right up away, and then a minute later, that exchange happened where Charles just walked into the pocket, and we saw what happened.
Mm-hmm. Which is still, even at that, right, so impressive. So, yeah, he got taken down, like you said, and my memory is slipping me, but to get right back up, I mean, we saw Holloway had no answer once he was down on the mat. So just once again, Taporia just showing how elite he is. And
and I mean, I don't know, he's so cold-blooded too. That bar he dropped yesterday where what did he say? Like, basically saying, sorry, Justin, someone else has to pay for Islam's escape again. And I won't humiliate you. Don't worry. It'll all be over by the time you wake up. I mean,
yes, that was good. That's good. I didn't even catch that. That's good.
He's on another level. Just the way he speaks and he is. I mean, yeah, he's something else.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty much my favorite fighter in the game, and I've been very just very entertained by him. And I love, the older I've gotten, I've been watching these fights forever, but the older I've gotten, I've gravitated even more so to just the greatness. When I was younger, I ended up actually rooting against a lot of the most elite fighters. I wasn't a big Anderson Silva fan. I grew up always I was at the bars as a young kid, just saying, come on, who's going to take him out? Who's going to finally beat him? Then as I started to get older and I was watching the tail end of Silva, then I started to root him on heavily, because then I was actually taking into consideration everything he did, and now I just look at these elite fighters, and it's a real treat to watch what Taporia is doing. So you got to just enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts, because I don't think he's going to stick around. We won't see him stick around too long. He's made enough money. He says he wants to go box.
Yep, I could see something like that happening too. I heard a little bit about that too. Yeah, so yeah, enjoy it. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, and we look forward to seeing you compete once again. We'll see however it works. We'll see how we get this thing going. We had two solid dudes that joined us. One thing for everyone that's watching, I got to get I got to let people know that the camera's got to be working a little bit more cleanly, the Wi-Fi, because I apologize to everyone that's watching where if it wasn't sounding too good to you guys, but we'll get that all cleaned up.
There were a couple blips. It was still, I watched the whole show. It was a great show. So
okay, cool, man, cool. All right, man. Well, yeah, we'll sign out on that, man. When we'll catch up soon.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else you want to say, and everyone go follow Doug. Doug's on IG. Doug, you're a DougDoesFights.
Yes, sir.
And, anywhere else?
I'm on Threads too, the official social media platform of the UFC.
Okay, there we go. We got the Threads going. Any X? Anything you on the X?
I'm not very active on X. I mean, I'm a company guy, right? I produce all the MMA content for SI, so you can definitely check out Sports Illustrated's YouTube page, si.com/MMA. I do live here in Vegas, so I do get a lot of access to these guys, which I'm very blessed to be able to do.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, you're living the dream. All right, man. Enjoy it. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, man.
All right. Take care, man.